December, happy December, Cancers. We've got part 2 of your message. I'm gonna completely like reshuffle because I feel like it's important that there was like the message for you guys was done over 2 days. So you got the first part that's uploading now, but we're gonna go ahead and finish part 2 and see how these two connect. So let's look at the part 2 overview for Cancer. Whoa. Okay, we're starting with the Hanged Man and the Four of Wands. I mean, this is definitely a different message. If this is you internally, the Hanged Man is where Spirit is going to have you suspended long enough until you can actually properly identify that this has already happened, that you've come into union. Like I said, you know, the first message really kind of talked about how your identity in the realms of metaphysics, magic, you know, using and working with energy as a Cancer, as this sort of maternal, nurturing creator type, could also have simultaneously healed some of the misaligned ailments that were manifesting third dimensionally for you. I think part 2 of this has to do a lot with, this could really vary depending on the vibration of the Cancer that I'm dealing with. But again, you know, the Hangman really talks about the ways that the universe will put you in a fixed position until you really can recognize that you have, in fact, already achieved this. This is very relevant for a lot of Cancers because I feel like, you know, even if you're thinking about the phase that you're in terms of like it being temporal, like very temporary in terms of your long term, I think you can really identify at this time that wherever you are standing, wherever you're seated, it's because you really need to. I'm just kind of getting this sensation is like maybe we missed how this is kind of the frequency. It's like someone who's not understanding like a prayer has already been answered, that you're already there, that you've already arrived. And so I think part 2 is kind of that, speaking to that, Cancer. It's like there's certain aspects of you this December that have already arrived at what I think you maybe keep going to the divine, being like, divine, I don't have this, and divine's like, what? You literally already had it. Like you've had not only this is what I'm saying, it's like it gives a big energy of like, I've been praying for this for so long, and it's like a prayer got answered like 10 years ago. Like it's like not even a joke, Cancer. It's like there's something in your life right now that it's like you were already there. You were already there. I also feel like for our high vibing Cancers, I think a lot of people are in this position when it comes to you. I think a lot of people didn't really want to, are being fixed in a position to see that you were always already in union. Because it seems like there's a message that you sent out about particularly like a celebration, like a 3 of Cups, like your ability to like be in a celebratory energy. And I think it's also like throwing people for a tizzy. Like I think Cancer is happy to wake up this morning. I know the Cancer part of me is like kind of getting lickbacks on like third party energies this morning, because it's just like, yeah, and another thing. Remember when you crucified me? Well, I'm giving you a message now that like this is post crucifixion and we got the dub. In fact, anyone who came to you, Cancer, with a crucifixion frequency, anyone who came to you trying to get you stuck, hung up, it actually was only allowed by the universe because the universe wants you to continue your path and wants you to continue to win. But in fact, like every time they crucified you, it literally like only put you further into union. And I just feel like today, the reason I had to do kind of a part 2 is because there's like a message that you sent out to like these third parties that's kind of like, right, and this is why you never play me. This is why you never play me. Because I just feel like Page of Swords, there's something about how like with your spiritual truth, like you knew it was supposed to be celebratory. You knew with these girls who kept trying to put you down all 2025 and talk about how down you are, talk about how much they wanted you to stay fixed, like bleeding out on the cross. And you're like, no, I feel like my assignment is actually, my spiritual truth is actually to be celebratory, to be hosting you girls. And the guys are like, no, you shouldn't be hosting anybody. You should definitely be dead, bleeding out on the cross. I just feel like that frequency is coming with Cancer. So it's like very much that confrontation, right? You cut this is also Cancer cutting themselves down from somewhere that people try to tie you up. People try to tie you up somewhere. And I feel like it's this group of bums and you cut yourself down, Cancer. You cut yourself down. Ooh. Because I think when it came to like people being able to see what path you were walking, there's a lot of subterfuge. Like, you know, your path comes with so much. There's already so much going on, and you're also really comfortable with that, Cancer. You're also really comfortable to be like, look at all this beautiful shit that's going to be on the thing that I'm about to start walking down. I think another reason why you had the courage and the strength at this time in December to finally cut yourself loose from the ways that these guys were fucking trying to plot on you in the ethers as Cancer was because you knew what came on your path. I think the only reason that someone can show this is kind of like Jesus Christ rising on the third day. Like, what? Nobody was expecting that nigga to fucking move the God to move the boulder. Nobody was expecting that. And it was because like the way that this person lived, the way that this light worker lived was like, baby, this is the path. The path comes with supernatural capabilities. Yeah, I get you girls don't know how to fucking feed 1 million people with a fucking single loaf of bread. I get you girls don't know how to part water from wine. You know what I mean? You know, I get you girls don't get that process, but it's the path ski. It's the path ski. And I think people are learning a lesson is like, ooh, they tried to have you bleed out and there you go rising in your truth again. Remember that truth that you girls were trying to say isn't real, that I was already in union about? Because that's what I'm saying. This is like someone who goes up on a crucifixion blog. Because I think a lot of people for you were trying to help you. Like, they think you're way stupider than you are. They think you don't have a concept of your own destiny when you completely do. And so I think a lot of these guys tried to crucify you to try to almost, I think it's in their head. They're like, I'm more conscious than you. I know more than you. I know, like, I can also intimidate and provide fear in certain ways. And it's like crucifying someone who was like already like aware that they've already made it. Like they had already reached enlightenment, Four of Wands, right? So it's just awkward because it also didn't take much to chop it down. Like the things that like these guys had so little proof on what they tried to like why their reasoning for trying to crucify. They had so little proof that it's like your light work, not even your King of Swords had to pull out like a light truth, like some shit you do, some light work you do on the regular, stuff you always do could like annihilate. And this is also someone who's like, I have the power to end you and I don't even waste my time, because it's like you clearly don't like these opposing forces that were always coming against you in 2025. It's like they clearly don't even realize like how much you're doing. That's what I'm saying. It's just like on your path there's like a lot you're doing. There's kind of like a lot. And I just feel like the Hangman, it's almost like it was the mounting collective energy for you to kind of be suspended this year in certain ways in terms of like who you're dealing with, but it almost felt like every little individual interaction you were having had the same coding of like, are you really trying to crucify me right now? For what? Yeah, because in the recent past, like while Spirit was healing you essentially in divine timing, again, you were in a complete sense of surrender. This is also definitely like Cancers. I will say there are a lot of people who tried to take advantage of you during your healing era. Okay, that's ugly behavior. That's nasty karma. Because everyone will have to go through into a fucking healing journey at some point in their goddamn life, at some point, multiple times on the point, right? That will happen. And so when someone is like very vocal, because they feel like Cancer, you're like, this is the moment where I'm like trying to, like, you're going up to people being like, hey, I'm trying to heal this, like whether that's family dynamics, personal trauma, personal wounding, you know, identity issues, whatever the plethora of things it could have been. It's like, you're going to be being like, yeah, that's what the current, I need God to heal me, because like there's some shit that I can't do this. I can't move this forward. I can't innovate on this shit pinata. So it took a lot of divine like filtration to clear out your waters internally. But I just feel like it was a cheap shot. I feel like for the people who took a cheap shot at you while you were trying to heal up, it's interesting. And like I said, it also just reads as super petty, just super petty. Like this is like murder. This is like public humiliation rituals on loop, while someone's already like letting everyone know like I'm trying to heal from like the parts of me that are fucked up. There's very few people who will do this, Cancer, and you chose to do this. You chose to be like, I know why I'm crabby. I know why I'm closed off. I know why I have issues, you know. And so this is also kind of like scapegoat behavior. Like I feel like, again, like whatever cycle of like scapegoating you like what's going on is like over now, because it's like you can't like, again, this is someone who's owning their darkness and is owning that like maybe for you, Cancer, it got to a point like where you really had to like course correct and fix your shit. So maybe your course correction was very public. It was very much like, I need to like deal with myself right now, which is great. But then I think that all these little jesters, these Three of Cups, like these third-party people, one, they wanted to act like they don't got problems, but they also wanted to just like, again, scapegoat you and cast their darknesses onto you, cast all their unascended third-party truths, because I also feel like this is a Cancer that was dying for a bunch of third parties' truths. These weren't your truths. These were things that people said about you, but were really the truth about them. And I know this to be true because the Cancer in me was getting my feelings hurt all year. Like, you're the nasty whore, not me. Why are you trying to call me that? Why are you trying to tell me I'm not, my head's not screwed on straight? Why are you trying to talk about me, my marriage? Why are you trying to talk about how I live my life and my businesses? But it was like everyone else's failures and projections and the ways that they act like low vibrational karmics were like, they were trying to get you to die for it. Because they just know your path comes with so much that they were like, but this is where I said like the petty arc of the December 9th to me today, but Cancer is like, guys, you can't die for someone else's bullshit. If you didn't do it, you didn't do it. But also like this is an issue that these people are going to now have with God, because you thought like, well, I'm already in my healing era. I'm already being accountable. I'm already letting God like hold me, like, I'm already atoning for how I've shown up temperance in the past, right? I already know like what my darkness is and what I needed to fix. But don't ever let someone like monopolize on that and take advantage of it, because it's not even just that they're like monopolizing on this. Like, they're trying to get you to do something for them that you can't even do. Like, it's not even possible. So it's like, definitely the frequency. Right, right, right. Because I think these girls wanted to drink from this cup. This is the question is like, can you drink from this cup? Because this cup comes from God, right? 3 of Cups. I also feel like a huge part of this was that like God was always going to elevate you, Cancer, right in front of the very bitches. Like, this is very much like, while these girls are sipping on fucking jungle juice punch, because that's all they can afford for free at the mixer they got invited to, they're watching you from the hand of God get the Ace of Cups, which is the divine cup, the cup that will overflow for you for the rest of your life. These people, when the club closes, they got to go home. You don't ever got to close down the club when God gives you the Ace of Cups. So that was what was mounting for you. And I think that's also the reparation that comes from this, from being scapegoated, from people, from these jits trying to get you to, trying to crucify you so that you can die for their sins. We're not doing that. Again, we're liberating Jesus Christ this Christmas, okay? Motherfucker did not need to die for nobody's sins, especially when he had trauma. Like, it didn't need to happen, because look at these ungrateful motherfuckers. Look at these Christians in 2025. Insane. I would have never done it. I promise you. I promise you. Y'all's Lord and Savior is disgusted. He's like, I would have never done. I should have never done it. Truly. What did I get in the afterlife? Nothing. Nothing from these hoes. Right? And so I just feel like that's like the most important part of this. Is like, you get this in front of everyone as well. And there's also a part of it where it's like, I also want to encourage you, Cancer, is like, if there's this coming out, like if you have this materialized, this like giant, intuitive, creative new beginning that really pours into you, if you literally have that, I feel like you're supposed to be like, and look what I have, like in front of all these girls, like literally. Because it's just this scapegoating behavior while you were already trying to like atone is crazy. Like, it's literally people scapegoating you because you were like, yeah, I know I'm the problem in my own life. Not even like to other people. It's just like, like, I'm not being the best I could be. But this is like people who take advantage of like the person who's like, I'm not the best I could be. I'm working on myself. It takes a lot to get to that point. And then they're like, oh, great. Since they're in there, I need to fix my shit era. I'm going to just try to fucking what? Make Cancer out to be like a cheater, a liar, a stealer, and a thief. Like, no, like, Cancer is what they are. Cancer has wounding, that's why they're crabby. But they also, like, you're not like these girls. You're not like these hound dogs. You know what I mean? You're just not. So you're just not gonna, it's just like, you can't be affiliated with whatever third party is around you, connected. It's like, you can't be pinned for the stuff they're doing. Because there's no, it doesn't trace back to you. And it doesn't matter that they're trying to do some sacrificial lamb shit and have you, it didn't matter then and it doesn't matter now. Because again, Cancer, 2 of Cups and the Devil. Yeah, that's your future. That's your new future. Yeah. Because here's what it is. This is like love me or hate me, is still an obsession. Like, you are owning that at this time. You are literally owning that. It's like, right. And in the end, for me, it's 2 of Cups. I'll always have a mirrored cup. I'm not in third party shit anymore, because that's the whole thing. To get yourself out of the third party timeline, you just had to do this. You just had to let the divine clean it up for you. And you were just taking accountability for stuff you've really done in your true life, like things you've created and caused, and that's great. But then it was like, it made you really see that the busters you used to keep around were busters, because it's like, okay, but when it's time for us to work on ourselves together, I started working on myself, and then you guys tried to be karmic. Try to act like I was the only one with problems. That's fine. You can act like I'm the only one with problems. It just looks like for a lot of these girls, like those problems, they didn't go anywhere because their method to eliminating their personal issues was sacrificing a human being. That would be you. What? Because they can't hold their own spiritual truth, because they can't look at who they really are, which is just karmic, which is irrelevant, which is third party. Yucko, stucco. But your future is this, right? And this is the 2 of Cups that you're obsessed with. This is where God is like, you get to live in your darkness. You just have to be in alignment. Like, a lot of people do the fucking I hate Geminis thing, and they're like, oh, we don't like duality. Being bad is not good. No, brother, this is a slime you can get down and dirty with. This is a Two of Cups that it's like, we can be light and we can be dark because this is for me. Again, God was never policing you. There's no judgment on any aspect of the 12th house, the 8th house. There's nothing too taboo for God. God just wants you to be taboo with the people that God has for you. Again, misalignment is the real evil. It's not because we go out and we drink, we smoke. It has nothing to do with that. It actually just has to do with like, God just wants you to follow the divine plan. You get to live a full spectrum life. Like if you guys didn't know, like there's nothing, I'm not a narc, I'm not a cop, and I'm not a fucking judge or juror. Like I'm none of those things. Like me and my husband, we're soulmates, but we embrace, like again, that's why we go by the morning stars, because it's like we don't have to, there's like, to be a holy roller in the age of the Aquarian is to be whole, light and dark, to be a builder and a destroyer. And this is a relationship where it's like we build and destroy on command. But again, it's, when I talk, a demon is one thing, but like being in your shadow, knowing, having complete power, being in your complete control, being in a Capricorn frequencia, you know, that is just what that is. You know what I mean? You don't got to be evil and malicious to be in your darkness, to be in your power, you know, to be an alluring, attractive, almost a damn near obsessive force. But Cancer, this is a lot of people obsessing over your Two of Cups. Like, this is why it was like this. This is why you got publicly crucified, because you were about to have a partner that everyone's going to be obsessed with. Like, what you're about to be on in December, the rest of this, like, your life, is like everyone's obsessed with your partnership. Everyone's like, whoa. And this is a reflection of your internal. This may not be an actual person outside of you, but it reflects how well, like, your masculine and feminine are doing it, to the point where, like, everyone's obsessed. But also these girls see themselves as the demon. Like they see themselves, like you are like, also, like I said, today was kind of like the day of the like fucking lick back in a funny weird way, because you're letting people know, like the issue that you have with people is like, you hate divine love. Like that, I could pretty much tolerate being any type of demon if I was a demon, other than being outed as someone who just like hates on love. Like that's like the worst. Like those are the sorriest motherfuckers, because they just hate love for no reason. But yeah, you came out on top. Like you ended the cycle and like, ooh, you ended the cycle on top like I told you to. You ended the cycle on top like I told you to, because you were always going to end it when it was like, okay, it doesn't matter what these girls are doing to me because God delivers. At the end of the day, like even a crucifixion, if you get put in that situation by the universe just wants you to depend on God and to trust your blueprint, to trust that like nobody can fucking end and terminate your shit for nothing, for not a single thing. Nobody can do it. Nobody can do it. And that's how you wrap that up. I'm getting so much 777. Ooh, ooh. And look how your ops are looking at you like, what? Huh? You have it all? Yeah. Yeah, easily. Because again, we're not going to crucify Cancer because you shouldn't crucify anybody unless you really want the smoke from the divine, but you definitely don't want to crucify somebody to scapegoat them for your own darkness. Everything these people said and accused you of is actually exactly who they were. And you knew that the whole time. That's probably why you were like petty labels the whole time. You were like, I think Spirit was like trying to temper you because you were really reactionary to it. It's like, what the fuck? Don't say that about me. About me? I'm like that. You're like that. I'm like that. You're like that. Like that's what it was all year for me. It was like, oh, you're saying I'm like that? That's what you do. How? Right? That's you can't say I get it. But that's why the divine was tempering you, because you're now a boss. Like you stopped with the crashing out, because you realize it's like, I'm crashing out, but then like I'm giving too much for crashing out over someone who's a crash out. Like I can't be vibrationally in alignment with the crash out. That's the whole reason they're coming for me, making slander, smear campaigns, fucking defamation claims, fucking all these libel on my body, on the bus down. And it's like, And I get it. Like, I get it. This was not easy. This was not easy for your Cancerian grip to release, where it's like, God, I can't let them say this shit on my name. God's like, I know, boo. I know, but it's because I want to annihilate these guys for good, because they're the type of name smearers. That's how these people are going to be remembered, is like, I'm telling you, these are people who spent the entirety of 2025 speaking on your name. There was nothing else that was coming out of their mouth. It was you, your name, and your path, all 2025. That's like their personality. And that's what's unfortunate, is because that personality gets wiped because you don't exist as whatever they were talking about. If that's not a real person, that's just their imagination. Yeah, just their imagination. Once again, running away with them. Yeah, that's schizophrenia, babe. The guys were trying to tell you about the lyrics, but I digress. So they're schizophrenic guys. They're over here crashing out because it's like, oh, wait. That's why you were talking so much. Yeah, there was a lot to talk about, just none of the made up stuff. There's a lot to talk about. Yes, Cancer, you did have 10 pentacles. Yes. But that, again, when you look at your ops, Cancer, especially from 2025, 2024, these like last few years, you really realize it's like, yeah. And that the only type of people that really could run that much is they needed your 10 of Pentacles. They can't do, they knew how much, it's like ecstasy and madness of having it all grounded. You had it all, okay? In the fear space, again, Spirit doesn't want you crashing out with these girls. You know what I mean? Because these people try to entangle themselves with you, right? And Spirit just wanted you to master your emotions and to realize, like, let Spirit, let the chopper say, you plead the foot. This is like pleading the split. Like, I plead the split. I'm not even gonna, because Cancer, you literally, this is such a bust down. Like, you literally just kept walking your path. You were like, okay, because again, I think when you think about these people popping up, they're not centered to your life. They don't really mean that much in terms of like what you got going on. So it's like, okay, whatever. Okay, say what you're gonna say. It really, like I said, right, there was like an attack on your masculine abilities, you know what I mean? And your divine feminine was the one that was like, hey, baby, just keep your cool. Do not let these people like lock in with, like, don't let them, because they want forever with you. They wanted to be doing the dance with you forever, and that's what you cut off. That's what you, like, by doing, look at that. See what I'm saying? So that's being apology tour. Yeah, and this is like, may God have mercy on your soul. If Cancer is the one that you have to go up to and apologize, and they're gonna deem and they're gonna weigh your soul and see if like your spirit is actually apologetic or not. Good luck to you. Good luck to you. So Cancer, that's your second message. Is like you end. This is how you're ending. These people have to come to you and ask for salvation now. Please, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. Yes, you did. So don't let them come up to you and say that they didn't know. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And you didn't even have to do anything. This is where Cancer is like really going to set the precedent that like the universe, that like God, when God is ready to smite you girls with a rock. Like Cancer, your story right now is about to be like, let God get your ops. That's the person who's the best at like annihilating ops. Better than even your creative imagination. And like people are going to realize that like you are, sorry, I'm beating. You were the person that like set that precedent. So I love that for you. I love that for you all December. But it's looking like I said, like December, you are really like, give a fuck, like could never care, could never have cared, because the way that this all played out 2025, like I don't know how great it felt to be like surrendering, but I think the whole point in the end was that you trusted God. Like you had to surrender all year because it felt like you weren't taking action in certain ways to maybe even like maybe you even tried it like to like put a third dimensional end to like some of the slander, because like some of it is just like, it's not just that people were making up rumors about you. You know that people were accusing you of the things they do. That's a specific type of irritation, and trust me, daddy, I get it. But again, like I said, this was all about God being like, you don't think I'm gonna have your back in the end? And so you really, I think forcibly, like you really had to let God have your back in the end, but God did have your back in the end. And the whole point of that was that like, oh, well, perfect. Now for this new cycle, that's why you were crucified, because it actually helps you really trust God, because you're about to get leveled up in a crazy way. And you're just about to be managing even more. Like it's 10 of Pentacles, 7 of Cups. Like you're about to be managing like something that just feels like ecstasy and madness all the time. It's like pure vision, pure hugeness. So it actually is really important for you to really be locked in with your creator, because your creator gave you all this stuff, and your creator is the one that's gonna like help you along in the journey. So I'm so proud of you guys. I love you guys. I'm glad we got to get the part 2 out. You deserve it. But December is your fucking month. You're taking it, bitch. You're taking it, bitch, because you guys, of all the bitches for 2025, you had the most incredible, deeply personal, like I said, that 2 of Cups journey for you 2025 was amazing. Coming into union with yourself was an amazing thing for you guys, because that is more important than fucking any opt-out. That's the message I really want to push. Like Cancer, I'm fucking proud of you, because you went from being the ugly, nurturing, dejected, degenerate, like in practice, like how people like, oh, you know, even if you're known like for your image or whatever, it's like in practice though, like, you know, Cancer, who really fucks with you and who's really going out of their way and who really sees how hard you try and how much effort you put in, and like, right, you really saw this stuff. So it's like for you to finally be like, actually, I'm that guy, I'm that girl, I'm that baby, I'm that lady. You know what I mean? For you to actually kind of be like, wait, I was never busted. Wait, the reason everybody's revolving around me is because I'm better than these girls. Like for you to finally have that, which is what I would believe your original blueprint should have been. It should have never been that you were like out here confused about how you show up and how people perceive you. I'm most proud of that. Like healing that mothering wound, healing that like healing the parental wound for you is huge, because that's what you're meant to go on and embody, that sort of nurturing frequency. And so, yeah, Cancer, I'm just, that for me, you guys were definitely like my favorite sign to read for consistently, all the time. So I'm so proud of our walk 2025 together. It has just been astronomical watching you guys like reclaim your power and remind these girls who the main character is, okay? It's gonna always be the primordial feeling, our cardinal water. That's you, Cancer. You are the drop that created the whole ocean. So I'm very proud of you. I am so excited for your December. Let me know how it goes, babe. In the comments, Chatsky. Let me know how it goes. Thank you guys for letting me do 2 parts. Hopefully I won't have to do 2 parts moving forward, but you know, you guys are special and I think these messages are great. So bye, Cancer. Love you.